Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of It's Complicated, where most of the topics that we talk about here are complicated, such as life. I'm just on the way to trying to figure out how to make it less complicated. There's no sure shot answer, and I'm probably trying to figure out an answer if I'm on here talking to you guys. Um, but I am here today, and I do want to say that this is going to be the last episode of this season. I've decided to 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 change it up a little bit, and in the new season, I am going to talk about my life. I'm going to talk about my life. So before we get into this episode, let me just explain that a little bit. When I first got onto social media, I wanted to make a change. I know that sounds crazy. I know that sounds cliche, probably, but my goal was to make a change. My goal was to help someone with my story, with my life, just getting through some of the obstacles and the challenges of life, of the things that came with me, that was brought to me in my lifetime. Even some of the choices that I made that were off track, that sent me off track. And that was always my goal. And I feel like I kind of veered away from that a little bit. Um, just because of life. The direction that life had put me on kind of like made me operate out of this survival mode. Um, So I feel like I kind of veered off a little bit with that. However, I do want to bring it back to what the original reason was, and that was to help someone. I've gone through a lot of things in my life, and I know I probably haven't gone through the worst. There's probably people that have gone through worse than me. Actually, I know that there are, but regardless of, I know that there's people out there that feel like they're alone. There were a lot of things that I went through life that I felt like I was alone, but there was actually someone there that had been through it and that could help me through it, even if it was just encouraging words. So that's what I want to do. I want to bring this back to that. It's still going to remain to be called It's Complicated, because that's been my life. My life has been a complicated piece of art. It's definitely a complicated piece of art. And I do ask that y'all bear with me, because I am new to podcasting, and I know that most people have music behind them and have such professional setups and things like that, but I don't. And I'm working on it. I'm working on it little by little, but I don't have it. Um, but I'm not gonna let that stop me. I feel like that's a procrastination tactic for me. And if I set it to the side, then I'll never move forward. It'll just lie there. So let me just keep going while I wait, while I build. So I do ask that y'all bear with me on this, but do look forward to that. Coming this week will be the first episode, and it's gonna take you all the way back to childhood. And I promise y'all, I'm not gonna cry. Okay, I can't promise that, but I promise y'all, I'm gonna try not to cry. I will. I'll try not to cry. But as for this episode I've called "Shutting Out the Silence." Shutting out the silence, and this resonates with me because I do this like probably once every quarter in the year, and it's important. So just to go along with that, to start it off, um, the past few weeks have been really, really emotionally and mentally um, draining for me. Just emotionally and mentally draining, going through, back to back situations and issues, um, that 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 just put me in a bad space. And I don't know about you guys, but I like to ground. Grounding helps keep me focused. It keeps my emotions, believe it or not, in check. And when I ground, there's different forms of grounding. By the way, you can meditate, you could pray, go for a walk, listen to music, whatever calms you, whatever brings you back to your center. to your focus, to your focal point is part of grounding. So when I ground, I like to go for walks, and when I go for those walks, I listen to gospel music. That's kind of like my thing right there. It it's a happy thing, but it also gets me through those rough times. Sometimes you just got to cry it out. So why not cry it out with some hopeful music, right? Um so I haven't really been able to ground. I would say within the past like 2.5 months. So that's been really hard for me. And emotionally, right? Emotionally. So I'm the type of person that when it's a lot going on around me, I get overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed and I can't really focus. It's like my mind is just all over the place. I can't operate in chaos. I can't do it. I can't function. And so this past week, it was just one of those moments, and it's crazy because right before the last chaotic moment, I had I had a conversation with my significant other, my boo thing. Uh, and I told him, I said, I think I'm going to fall back for a little while because I need to focus. I need to focus. I need to ground. And he understood that. And of course, he still wanted to make sure that I talked to him. And of course, I'm still going to do that. But I've just fallen back from other things. And instead of falling back, I didn't get the opportunity to fall back. And because of that, not because of that, but when I missed that opportunity, here comes another chaotic moment. And in that chaotic moment, I just kind of like lost it. I kind of lost it. My emotions were all over the place. I couldn't think clear. I couldn't even have a non-emotional conversation. My walls went up. I was in protective mode. My thoughts got the best of me. So it wasn't anything positive that came out of it, at least for me, right? At least for myself. Like I didn't like the way that I was operating in that moment. Um so I had to force myself to take a step back. I had to force myself. I had to set that boundary, not only with others, but also with myself as well, and take that time. So, and it's crazy because the very first night that I decided to take that step, I pray in the shower, y'all. That's my safe space. I pray in the shower. I do my prayers in the shower because I'm not bothered. No one can bother me. You know, the door is locked. I'm in the shower. I'm praying and I'm crying. I'm crying because it just shit, nothing is going right. You know, like everything is falling apart in my mind. And I get out the shower after I pray, and then I'm sitting on my bed, and I think I was playing a game on my phone, but I'm also in my feelings and my emotions and my thoughts, thinking about the moment at hand and how I don't like it. And I put on my headphones and I started listening to gospel music, which I haven't done in a while because I haven't taken my walks. And as I'm listening to the gospel music, like everything is just coming together. Everything, like my thoughts, I felt, not that I felt whole, but I felt me coming back to me. I felt like I was coming back to myself, and I liked it. And I was like, this is what I need. Now, does that mean like I'm completely ready to break down the boundaries and go right back into normal civilization? Hell no. Absolutely not. I need that time. I need that time. And a lot of times I need to weed out the noise. I need to silence the noise. I need to get to a place where I can sit and reflect. So another thing, um how I used to do, the way that I used to be was I used to seclude. And I'll call it seclusion, y'all. I'm sorry, that was the front door. Um, I used to seclude myself um, in these moments, not really understanding what I was doing, what it was needed at that moment, but I would seclude and I would have all of my emotions, go through my emotions, but not really understanding my emotions. And I will say that within the past year, I've finally gotten to a place to where I understand what that, and I call it hermit mode, but what that means and what's needed in that time. And in that time, I need to sit there and process. I need to process my feelings, process my emotions, reflect. Where am I? Where do I want to be? What is going on? Am I okay? Am I okay? And in order for me to do that, I really do have to sit in that silent moment, however long that takes. And that's one thing I need people to understand, right? Is my process is not your process. Your process is not my process. My timeline isn't your timeline, and your timeline isn't mine. If I need 2 weeks, I'm going to need 2 weeks. If I need 2 months, I'm going to need 2 months. I need to process. I need to process. And I think the best part about boundaries is the respecting aspect of it. Respect that. Respect that. The same way that you would want someone to respect your boundaries, I just ask that you respect mine. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I operate. Um, but I don't think it's a bad thing to set boundaries and in that reflecting, in that processing time. Because mind you, in about 3 weeks, I ain't had no time to process anything, y'all. I didn't have any time to process anything. And that 3 weeks on top of what life has already thrown at me in the past year, it's easy to go into a dark space. It's easy to want to crawl into a dark hole, dig your way into a hole and just kind of peek out every now and then to see if the coast is clear, but not really going through that process. Not really going through that process. So that's what I've learned to do. I don't want to sit in it. I want to process it. I want to process it because life has thrown me a lot of lemons, and I think I'm sick of lemonade, y'all. I'm sick of lemonade. I don't want any more lemonade. I think I'm diabetic at this point in time. It's like I've had so much lemonade. I think I'm a little diabetic, but that's with the sugar added. I take away the sugar, it's nasty. So therefore, I'm over it. I don't want any more lemons. I don't want any more lemonade. And I think the only way to get to that place is by processing and understanding. And I'm a firm believer that nothing happens for no reason. I believe that everything does happen for a reason, and that's what I try to figure out in that processing time. And I had a conversation with my significant other, and I told him that. And that's something you have to do. You have to explain it because not everybody understands it. Key thing is communication. You do have to explain it. Um, but I did. I explained that to him, and he understood, and it felt good to have someone to understand. Because not a lot of people understand that. A lot of people get offended, and they think you're acting funny. But I'm not acting funny. It's not about you. It's me. It's not you. It's me. It's a me thing. Because at the end of the day, if I'm not okay for me, I can't be okay for anyone else. I can't be okay for anyone else. It's that selfish moment. Sometimes we have to be selfish. Sometimes we have to be selfish, especially when it comes to our mental and emotional health. And that is something that I will gladly say that I am selfish about because I don't like being in a space of chaos. I don't like being in a space where I don't feel as if I can function. Um, with everything life throws at you sometimes your mental is the only thing that you have, and you definitely have to keep that intact. Emotions run rampant every day, but your mental is definitely what's important. um so going through the process and the understanding and all of that, shutting out the noise shutting out the noise is very important. It's very vital to the process. I don't know. That's how I do it. I don't know. Some people may be able to process. For me, I have to block out And when I say blocking out, when I say sitting in silence and shutting out the noise, I mean blocking out opinions. Opinions are great. They're great, but not everyone's opinion works for me. Not everyone's opinion works for my processing or my processing time. And I say that because I mean not to downplay anyone's opinions or advice or anything like that, but when people are constantly throwing their opinions at you, you kind of find yourself focusing on their opinions and trying to do what it is that they're telling you to do, or what their advice for you to do is. But in all reality, their advice for you may not be for you. Their advice for you may be something that helped them, but it may not work for you. So that causes another snowballing effect, to where now you're like really F this ish, because none of this is working. But a lot of times, if we just shut out the noise and sit in that silence and stop trying, we just be still. Just be still, be silent. The answer will come. The answers will come. The problems sometimes tend to resolve themselves in those cases. And I'm saying this from experience, y'all. Not from what I think, but from what I know. Once I started to understand the process, then yes, I understood that. I learned that. And that's why it's very vital for me to have those moments. And like I said, they probably come around like once every quarter. And my body just automatically does it. And it's crazy because I'll know when it's coming. I'll know when it's coming. I'll start to get annoyed. I start to get annoyed. Well, first of all, I'm in my head first. I'll get in my head. I'll get in my thoughts. And then I'll start to get annoyed. I'll start to get annoyed and irritated. And then at that moment, I realize I see that this is about to come. It's around the corner. But like I think my previous episode, overstaying your welcome. Sometimes I overstay my welcome and I don't do what I'm supposed to do at the time I'm supposed to do it. And then I'm kind of really forced, like this last week, into that silent moment, into that processing time, because it really gets chaotic. So if I don't listen to my gut, if I don't listen to my intuition, if I don't just go ahead and listen to myself in that moment and do what it is that I need to do, 9 times out of 10, it goes a little crazy after that. And I have no one else to blame but myself. So it forces me into this place of silence, into this space to where I have to reflect. But I don't like the fact that it's forced. And I feel like if I just go ahead and take it when I'm supposed to take it, if I go ahead and take it when I am supposed to take it, I could alleviate so much. But no, in true Leo fashion, I don't. And trust me, y'all, 41 years of this. 41 years, almost 42. But I think I got it. I think I got it. I think I got it. But I just want to tell y'all that. Sometimes you do. You have to shut out the noise. Anytime you feel like you're in a place of being overwhelmed, and you can't think, you can't focus, just try shutting out the noise. Shut out the noise. Sit in a place of solitude. Try it. If you've never tried it, try it. Sit in a place of solitude. Give it 24 hours. I'll tell you. I'll say that. Give it 24 hours in silence. Not really communicating with people. Like I'm right now, I'm in a space to where if I have a conversation, I don't want to talk about everything. I don't want to talk about the issues that anyone else is having. I don't even want to talk about my issues. I know, so I have a conversation, right? Um, I don't want to talk about who did what, who didn't do what, who did this, who did that. No, I don't want to focus on any type of issue right now. I might take like a 5-minute break and have a conversation, but other than that, just let me sit. Let me sit. Now, does that mean that I completely stop doing everything? No. No, I still got work to do. But sometimes I just need to sit. So I challenge anyone that gets into that overwhelming space, that gets into that frustrated space, that irritated. that unfocused space. Go into that quiet space. Have that quiet time. In my group, we call it shin time, and whoever else's name that it may be. For me, it's called shin time. And however long that may be, I take it. I take it. I don't care if anybody don't like it. I'm just saying. Don't like it if you want to. It ain't about you. This is about me. So I'm going to take all the time that I need. And I challenge everyone or anyone who's never done it to do that. And if you don't ground, if you don't really have a method of grounding, put some music on. Listen to music. Music is definitely it has a calming effect. I mean, I guess depending on the type of music that you listen to, but try listening to music. Try listening to meditating sounds, calming sounds, just anything to take you to a higher vibration, to raise your energy. And when I say energy, not like your physical energy, but your mental, your emotional energy. Give that a try. There's so many different ways. Go for a walk. Go for a walk. Drown out the noise. Drown out the noise. Shut out the silence. Shut out the silence. And I hope this helps someone. I really do. I hope this helped someone. And again, thank you guys so much again. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Also, look out for season 2 that is going to be coming this week as well. This is going to be posted on a Tuesday. So I would say by Thursday, look out for the next episode. And it's going to be about my life, the challenges throughout my life, and starting at childhood, at 5-year-old Shin. I think that's the earliest I can remember. I'm not sure, but we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. I appreciate you guys for bearing with me, for joining me, for listening. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I hope and I pray that you guys have a great and blessed day. Have a good one, y'all. Bye.